So I watched Send Help yesterday with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and this was such a good film. It was so good. There was not a dull moment watching this film. I was engaged throughout the entire narrative, and Rachel McAdams played this character so well. There was so many great nuances in her performance, such as her eye twitching or her jaw drooping down when she was dismayed with something. Uh, you could just you could just read how she was feeling with her entire physical performance in her facial expressions. It was absolutely mesmerizing to see as a performance, and the writing was on point. Both characters made decisions that made complete sense in the narrative. There was not one moment where I thought, I don't feel like that character would have made that decision later on, or but it no, it made complete sense, and you was there was such a great balanced dynamic between both characters when they crashed on the island. Um, there was arguments to and for getting off the island. The We understand Rachel McAdams' motivation for why she's into survival and wants to keep staying on the island. As we learn a bit more about her character, there's this survival trait in her which stems from quite a traumatic event that happened to her in her past. So we understand her motivations for wanting to stay on the island and for why she just completely embodies into her survival instincts when they're there on the island. But then, of course, with the other character Dylan O'Brien plays as the corporate CEO boss, I mean, he's obviously he's obviously very abusive. He is towards the start, he is, and even when they're on the islands together. But there are moments where he does make valid points for wanting to get off the island, and later on in the film where he does where there's basically a confrontation over something that does happen later on in the film. I won't give anything away, but there is quite nuanced, the dynamic between them. It's not one side's completely antagonist. We're supposed to be on their side all the time. There are moments where we think, well, this other character does have a point in some places. So it was just so well written and very well performed. My minor criticisms of the film, however, would be in a couple of shots. There's this one shot of a centipede crawling across a tree branch, and the camera is looming over this tree branch and then onto Rachel McAdams' character. But the centipede is a very obvious CGI insert, and I understand obviously that there are now ethics with use of animals in film productions, and perhaps there was a factor that they didn't want the risk of the camera falling from its rig and onto the centipede. Um, but if I would probably prefer that they didn't use a CGI insert at all and no animal at all, to be honest, because that was a little bit maybe distracting. And then there was also a shot of the camera panning across to a cave and this web of these two spiders that was very obviously CGI. And you do notice it in quite a few films over the last few years. And that's my only minor criticism on a technical standpoint. Otherwise, this film is so well done, and my only regret is that I didn't watch it sooner. I implore anyone, while it's still running in theatres, please go and watch it. It's fantastic. Excellent.